how are you?
Hey Dan, how are you?
How
I,
are you?
Everything is good. How are you? All good?
Good. Everything's great. I'm here in New Jersey.
Early morning.
Yeah, early morning at 8 a.m., but no problem. It's all good. Thank you so much for having me on. So
It's okay. It's my pleasure. And before we talk about the new album, let's talk about the tour with Michael Schenker last year, because
absolutely.
I was in Barcelona actually for that show. So,
Oh man, that's great. Excellent.
how was the tour, first of all?
The tour, so from start to finish, I mean, personally, that was my favorite tour that I've been on. Like the whole experience was great. It was about 3 weeks. So we did 11 shows, and every show is just amazing. Like Barcelona, especially, that was one of my favorite shows for sure. You know, just to go on the road with those guys, unbelievable experience. And Michael Schenker, they're one of my favorite artists as well.
Yeah.
So it was a
You
great
know,
time.
I can imagine hearing those classics night after night. You know, just-
Oh yeah, that was one of the best things. So besides playing every night, to watch them every night was just a bonus. So we couldn't have been happier on that tours, and we had a really great turnout at every show. So the turnout was great every night, and definitely all of the fans were very receptive. So we were really happy with that one.
Cool. And when it comes to the new record, when did you guys start the songwriting for Venera?
So Venera, we started, believe it or not, over a year and a half ago. Or almost 2 years ago, we started writing for that. So we started doing pre-production, and how it works is our keyboard player Boris, he'll come up with all his keyboard parts. He'll send it to our guitar player, Rich. He comes up with all his guitar parts. Then they send the tracks to me. Then I come up with all the drum parts. And then once all the music is set, we send it to our vocalist, Alina. And then she comes up with all the lyrics, the melodies. And it's just a great process. But I would say about 2 years, I recorded drums for that almost, I would say like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And then we finally got everything together. And then we didn't have a set timeline on, okay, when are we gonna release it and stuff. But then we started, getting everything together, and we're like, all right, got to put this album out, got to get everything going. And then we 14 songs, so it's a lot of material going back and forth doing changes. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, and how strange it is for a band because, we fans have no, sometimes we don't have that recollection or that even crosses our mind that you guys recorded the music for a long time. The album is done for, almost a year, probably in your case.
Prior.
And, how do you guys live with having like an album there ready to come out, but like a year long, nobody can listen to the music other than yourselves?
Yeah, it's amazing because once we start wrapping up all the material and then we're listening to it ourselves, and then when we finalize, like even the parts of the songs, verses, choruses, write a bridge for this one, then we have to go back and listen. And we're like, oh, you know what? Maybe let's change this here, change this rhythm here. But when everything's done, we're so excited about it that we can't, like, for us to wait for the world to hear it. We want it out the next day, but then it's a waiting process and stuff. So we have to, wait until everything's done. And then it just takes, as far as the excitement of getting it released is, we would love it like tomorrow, so.
And, in the meantime, after, you put all the work, obviously there's a promotion side of things, artwork and, checking if the vinyl is okay, getting the CDs and all that stuff. All that takes time. But in the meantime, do you guys start working on new music, or when the album is done, you prefer just to, relax and...
So it's interesting. We already started, so this is our, this is our second album as EVERDAWN. So we already started pre-production for the third. So the music has already started. So we don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? We want to just keep going, like
Yeah.
as far as just get ahead of ahead of the game, where we're always writing, or always just continuing like right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we already have some songs that are in pre-production mode for the next album. So it's always thinking ahead.
Yeah. Is it important, to keep that momentum in a way? Because, Venera, it's a great record, sounds amazing. And you probably get inspired when you listen to it. You say like, okay, there are great songs in here. Let's keep it going. That does, motivates you guys to keep writing. And because there are bands that put, after they record an album, they just wait until they get a green light from the label or something to say, okay, now guys, let's make a new album.
Right. Yeah, of course. And we're inspired by so many different bands, all of us. So we all come from different backgrounds as far as like music and everything. But all of us, we all pretty much like the same bands like that we're influenced by. But like there's so many of them that when you listen to something, you get influenced by it. And we just want to. It inspires us to write, just create right away. But yeah, in this case, as far as creating new music, even though Venera isn't out yet until December 8th, we're already thinking ahead, like, all right, the next album. So just get in that mode.
Yeah. And, the album, the song Cassiopeia, it's the perfect song to open a record and probably to open a live show. I don't know if that's the plan for you guys, but when I was listening to it, I was like, okay, this is the song that's going to open the upcoming shows for the band.
Yeah. I would personally, that's one of my favorite songs on the record. So I would be, if you ask me personally, I would love to open that. I think that would be a very, just like heavy, strong opener right away.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the songs on this album, I like the tempos, like as far as there's a lot of mid-tempo songs, but then we have faster songs. Then we have a slower song like Cassiopeia, and we have like a song like Silver Lining, which is a lot more upbeat.
It's power metal. It's power metal one-on-one. That one.
Right. Exactly.
It's truer words ever spoken. It's almost 13 minutes long. Yeah. I'm curious to know that if you guys plan to write a long song, or if it was just as you were writing, the song just developed into that mammoth of 13 minutes long.
Yeah, the great question. So that actually, we weren't thinking in terms of, let's make this, 12, 13 minutes, 20 minutes long. It just, all the parts just came about, and our keyboard player Boris, he structures all of it, and it just, all these ideas came about, and he just put everything together, and it just came together naturally. I think that song, and it turned out to be almost 13 minutes, and it was hard to believe. We're like, wow, we have a song already, one song that's almost 13 minutes long. But a lot of the parts on there's definitely, what I love about that song personally is the influences. I think we have a ton of it showcases a ton of our influences in one song, and that's actually another one that is a very long song, but I would love to play that one live eventually for sure.
You think it's possible? I know, maybe when you do headline shows, you have a bit more time to play, because obviously when you do support tours, you really, you have like 40, 45 minutes. You can
sometimes 30 minutes even. So for a support slot, too long to play. But definitely, hopefully in a headlining situation, that would be one I would love to play live, of course. But that song especially, we had a lot of different parts for that, but to put that together, that kind of came about later on, where we were seeing if parts gelled together. So then we would listen back, and if a part didn't fit, we would change it. And then we spent a lot of time, I remember, just the sections, like even for all the drum sections, I had to go back and forth a lot, say, does it make sense to do more of a kind of like a halftime feel in this section, or faster paced part here? And then it takes so much time to get everything together, but it just flowed. That one flowed really nicely. Once we had everything in place, it just came together naturally.
Yeah. And, one of the things about, having a long song is not just having like 20 minutes of music or whatever. You really need to watch for the balance, for the flow of it, because otherwise, with attention span of people these days, they just, skip if you don't
Yeah, of
pay
course.
proper attention. How did you guys, do you guys pay attention to those like details in that sense, or it's something that's very natural to you guys as well?
Oh, to see how the fans are reacting, like how they're
Yeah,
taking onto a song.
yeah,
Um, we know we do. So it's interesting when we play a show. If we open with a certain song or end with a certain song, we'll see how the audience reacts. So if we feel okay, maybe like the first two or three songs, everyone's really like headbanging or they're really into it. But then we slow it down, and then we notice if somebody's not as into it or if they're not paying attention as much. Like we'll say the next show, or even if we're on a tour, we're going to do the same set every night, so we don't change that. But in the for future shows, we'll say maybe we should end with this song or put this song in the middle of the set versus the third, second song in. Maybe we'll do it fifth or sixth. So we definitely we're open to that as far as seeing the reaction. Then we kind of analyze and see what would maybe we'll do a faster paced song
yeah,
on the third or something like that.
yeah. And I was listening like to Northern Star. Is that an extra
Mhm.
voice there, or it's my impression? Is that
Oh
another?
no, that's all. So that's all. So all Alina. Her harmonies are incredible. So her and also Rich, both of them. He sang on the record a lot as well. So between the two of them, they just come up with all these crazy ideas, and that's all them, 100%.
Because I was listening, I was like, is there another voice here that I'm missing? Because
Right.
the press didn't mention anything about guests or anything. So I was just thinking, am I missing something? Am I crazy? But
No, yeah, that's all. That's all Alina, and then Rich sang on that as well, and they came up. So it's pre-production and in the studio. They had so many. The ideas were just ideas that we didn't even think of, or they didn't even think of prior to doing the final recording in the studio. A lot of stuff came about right there on the spot, some of it, because they heard ideas. They're like, wait a minute, I think this would go here, or this would sound really great here. And we had, it was just, we had a great flow. Like recording this album was just awesome.
Cool. And another thing on this record is the instrumental one, Crimson Dusk and Silver Dawn. Is that like wasn't on purpose just to split the album in two parts, so to say?
Oh, Crimson Dust, that's our instrumental.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted an instrumental on this album. So it just came about where we definitely want an instrumental on this. And we just figured, just something very melodic. We want it fast and heavy at the same time. So we definitely said, all right, we had to find a spot for that to fit on the album. But we were unsure because we had so many songs that we didn't realize that we even had there's 14 songs on the album. So at one point we're like, we didn't even realize we had that many. We're like, wow, we have a lot of songs. So we were hoping that all of them could fit on this one album because it's a pretty long album. And some albums are 10 songs or 11 songs.
Yeah.
But we were happy that we were able to showcase all 14 on this one album.
Yeah. When you guys go into songwriting process mode, do you have like, there's 14 songs on the album, but do you have like 5 or 6 more that were left out that you didn't work on, or you just focus really on the ideas that you have, you feel strongly about them, you work on them, and if you're happy, you just keep them, no leftovers? How does it work with you guys?
So songwriting, yes. So it's interesting. We do have a few songs that didn't get on this album that we had, but we figured there was one song that we have that we figured, okay, we already have 14. We didn't think it would fit particularly as well on this album, so we chose another song over that, the one that didn't make it on this album. So, but in general, we'll just write in the intent of having saying, all right, this song stylistically we're going for this, or, we want everything kind of to flow together. So we'll think in terms of, all right, this song sounds like this could be on the same album. So that we'll organize it that way usually.
Yeah. Do you discuss the lyric ideas as well for the album, like when it comes to themes to write about? Because, you cannot write say a fast-paced song and about something that doesn't really mixes well with the rhythm of it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So this this album in particular, Alina and Boris, they, all the lyrics are about, a lot of it's like constellations, constellation theme, time and space, goddesses. So we definitely have there's definitely a big mystical feel behind it. So it's kind of like our first album, Cleopatra. That was a concept album as well. So we're kind of taking it to another realm where we're talking more about constellations and stars and just meaning of life, finding yourself in this, in the lyrics. So it's very, it took a little while for them. They wrote the lyrics fast, like they write really fast, but as far as the concept, they thought very deeply in how, okay, well, what do we want this album to be, the concept and everything like that.
Yeah. It's important to have a balanced idea about what you really want to make of an album, not just a big mess of, going from war to fairies to whatever.
Of course, yeah. So we definitely have it where it's a cohesive album. So the whole album from start to finish, it's all in line. The concept is even throughout. So it's very very deep. Like personally, I don't write the lyrics at all, but as they were writing the lyrics, it was just amazing to see the concept that they came up with, like Alina, and it's just to see just it took a lot of thought to come up with all the lyrics to this one especially.
Yeah. Cool. And, for you as a musician, what did inspire to play drums? Why not guitar or bass or being a vocalist?
Oh, good question. So I started playing when I was 15, actually. I took one guitar lesson. I didn't know what I wanted to play. So I started with guitar. I took 1 or 2 lessons, and I'm like, felt pretty good. I'm not sure. So I wanted to experiment. Then I switched to drums. And after the first lesson, I had a knack for it where I just felt like whatever I was taught in that first lesson, I picked it up pretty fast. And then I just said, I think I want to play drums. So I started just with that, and I stuck with that. And that's how I became a drummer. So.
And what drummers have inspired you, to improve your technique and all that?
Oh, so many. So I love Dream Theater, obviously. I like, obviously, Mike Portnoy, Mike Mangini. I like a lot of the fusion guys. Like, I love Dennis Chambers, played with Santana for a while. Dave Weckl. I mean, there's so many. But then I like, obviously, a lot of the metal guys. I love Vinnie Paul from Pantera.
Yeah.
Metallica was a big influence on me musically. And I think the first band I remember listening to at 4 or 5 years old, the first 2 bands I got introduced to rock and metal early on, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. So that whole genre just inspired me just to play.
I remember when I was younger. I'm older now, but I listened to Metallica, and obviously Lars was always getting awards for best drummer or drummer of the year, whatever. But nowadays people tend to criticize him a lot. Do you think that criticism is fair at any extent to Lars?
No, I think Lars is a great drummer. I mean, his style is Metallica. So he's a huge besides playing drums for Metallica, he's a huge creative force, even in the writing. So I think what I like about it is when you hear Metallica, you could tell it's Lars right away. He has his own style, and his parts, especially in the song One, I mean, that one double bass part in the middle is so iconic because everybody knows that. Like, if you think of double bass drumming, that one, it's a 6-stroke roll that he's doing with his feet. That's that's such an iconic metal part. Like, I just think I'm a huge fan, so I think he's super creative.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I just because I remember listening and all the praise for Lars, and nowadays people tend to criticize and forget what he has done and
For
what
music,
he
yeah.
does for Metallic and music in general. And I
Yeah.
think, like, people have a fucking short memory.
Right. Of course. Yeah. He's their songwriting is just they've influenced, almost, I would say, everyone in metal. I mean, they're such an iconic act that it's they created a whole new genre that's it started, thrash metal. And I just think most everyone's definitely, it's, even if they're not aware, they're definitely influenced somehow, I think, by Metallica, whether it's the riffing or playing or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with when a band grows a lot and they become very popular. They're not, their niche band anymore. People just get annoyed with that, and it's not like their band anymore. It's everyone's band, and like,
right.
I listened first. I got the first album, and you didn't even know Metallica, or like, it's.
Oh, exactly. There's when you see a band in a small club, and then all of a sudden they explode and become huge. You're right. A lot of people say, I saw them before they sold out.
Yeah.
Before they got huge and everything. I think in a situation where, when you have a band like Metallica, they started off as, with Kill 'Em All, was such a sound, was completely different, and who would have ever known they would be who they are today? It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. And when it comes for EVERDAWN, the album comes out, as we said, early December. What are the plans for next year?
So next year we have a festival next August in Denmark. So we're playing. We're looking forward to that. So we have a European festival over there, and we have. We're constantly, our manager, they're always looking for tours for us, and we hope to definitely get on the road very soon for once our album's released, not that long after. We're definitely looking to get busy with shows and live stuff in the new year for sure.
Cool. And if for some reason the tour doesn't happen, you'll be working on your music anyway. So
yeah, oh yeah. Regardless, we'll if for some reason we let's say we don't have a tour in February, March, we'll just write music until we'll always keep busy until in between touring and live shows for sure. But the festivals, we're looking to do, all the above, festivals, touring, and everything. Yeah.
That's cool. Dan, thank you very much for your time. All the best for EVERDAWN and Venera. It's a great record.
Thank you so much.
You got something very special in your hands. Let's hope you guys be able to tour extensively with the album, because it's one of those that deserves to be played live as well. So, fingers crossed for everything to go well. And, hopefully we'll see you guys in Portugal. You guys were close enough in Spain, but we need to bring you guys to Portugal.
Absolutely. I can't wait. The sooner the better. So.
Yes. Dan, thank you very much. Have a great day. And thank you for getting up so early for the interview. All right.
Absolutely. It was an honor to be on the show. Thank you so much.
All right. Hope to see you soon. All right, Dan. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.